How to identify and troubleshoot the problems in your job hunt, the problems in your career in a way that you can have control over how you solve them. So this is something that used to really bug me because I didn't realize I wasn't taking responsibility for stuff when I thought I was. So this was confronting for me when I first heard it, and I had to work through it. So our tendency is when we run into a problem, we'll blame something else for the problem, right? So for example, if I say to you, why aren't you getting job offers? Then the answer is likely going to be something like, well, I am not getting responses. People aren't responding to me, or people aren't moving forward to hire me, or this, like, it's going to, and as long as the answer starts with something else that's not within your control, then the answer is out of your power, right? So if you say they didn't hire me, you're saying the reason why you don't have that offer is because they didn't hire you, is putting the power in their hands, right? Now, this can be confronting. So I expect you maybe to be a little triggered by it. I was in the beginning. And so when you shift that to it has to be something that you did, right? It has to be something that is in your control as to why you don't have a job offer right now. And that is harder to take responsibility for. And this is the part where you have to be like, okay, am I willing to take full responsibility for everything? Because if I am, it means I have the power and control to move forward and take a different action from my own power. Or am I going to let the external circumstances have power, which then means I can't do anything about it, right? So let's look at the job search example. So if you have no job offer right now, and or maybe you have a job offer that's lower than what you'd like it to be, how could that be caused by something you did, right? You might say to me, oh yeah, but I have applied, I've done this, I've applied to 100 different places, I've interviewed at all these different places, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. It can't possibly be my fault because I've been working really, really hard, right? Okay, let's say that's the answer. That's the answer that your brain is giving right now. So, how, if we look further and we're like, okay, but how could it still be your responsibility, the fact that you don't have it, right? And there are several ways. Okay, so I'm going to present some of them, but for you, it's going to be a different way. But the first thing is that there's always, like, there's never a time when you've tried everything and haven't gotten a result. I used to tell myself this all the time. I used to say, I've tried everything. Look at everything I've tried, right? I used to do that all the time. And there's never a world in which that is true, because if you had tried literally everything, you would have the result that you wanted. So that's just not true. So one of the things is you could have not been connecting authentically to enough people. You're not getting their attention in the way that they need to get, you're not using words and energy in a way that's getting anybody's attention. You're just kind of blending in with the crowd. That could be the case. And you could still be applying for hundreds and thousands of opportunities, but if you're blending in, it's not going to make a difference, right? So you could take responsibility for that one thing, which is I'm not authentically connecting with enough people to open up true, meaningful opportunities. Another one could be I'm not believing that an opportunity for me at the pay I want and the environment I want is available. I'm not believing that. That's something that you can take responsibility for. And if you're not believing that, then we need to look at that and see, why aren't you believing it? And we need to counter the belief so that you can start to build the belief. Because if you don't have the belief, you're never going to take the action that it requires to get you to the result, right? Because your brain is just going to, it's very smart and it wants to be very efficient. And it will just say, yeah, well, the market's just really tough right now. There's no good opportunities anyway. And all the good ones are taken. So there's just no point in trying, right? And from there, you might go through the motions, but your intention, your energy, your words won't be very powerful because you're just like, yeah, well, there's really no point anyway, right? So the belief thing, that's a huge one. Where am I not believing that this is totally possible for me, totally done for me, totally something I'm creating right now. Where am I not believing that? Where am I not taking responsibility for believing that? And then the third one could be that you are indulging in emotions that are not helpful for you. So if you're spending a lot of your time feeling very disappointed, feeling very discouraged, feeling very panicked, feeling a lot of scarcity in your body, feeling like somebody who is not succeeding, somebody who's struggling, like if you're in that identity, then that is something that's going to attract more of what you don't want. So if you're in the not enoughness, then you're going to attract more not enoughness to you. And so these are just three things that you could take responsibility for right now that are potentially pushing away what you want, not allowing you to see what you want, not allowing you to have the inspiration to go through the motions to get the actual results done. And that is all through input that you have to have in your brain. So you need to have inputs in your brain that support the fact that you can become the person who succeeds in your career in the way you want to succeed, creates the thing you want to create in your career, and then goes on to create future goals for yourself. You need to be able to believe that about yourself and have the habit of believing that about yourself versus the habit that you might have right now. And that habit, if you're not successful right now where you want to be in this area of your life, is likely because you've been believing something that contradicts that, right? And you've been wired that way, and you can just as easily wire yourself the other way. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe to the channel. You can opt in to a PDF I have. It's called 8 Reasons Why Smart, Capable People Get Interviews but No Offers, and it will help you troubleshoot why you're not moving forward. So there's 8 reasons that I've put together that I see very commonly. Get tons of feedback on this download. So if you're interested in taking responsibility for troubleshooting that for yourself, then that's a great place to start. Download that below, and I'll see you in the next video.